Hi guys, welcome back to We Should Talk, a pop culture interview series from In the Know. I'm your host, Gibson Johns, and today on the podcast we have the hosts of SiriusXM's TikTok Radio. They were not all available at the same time. So first you'll hear an interview that's one-on-one between me and Davis Burleson, who was one of the co-hosts, and we talked all about the gig and TikTok sounds and music and what pops off there. And then I kind of had a similar conversation with the other four co-hosts of TikTok Radio, which are Masani Musa, Lamar Dawson, Taylor Cassidy, and Jess Lucero. And they're both really fun conversations. And again, we talked about just sort of like the general TikTok music landscape, how it affects music in general. And when I think about radio, and historically, it sort of feels like radio has always been like a little bit late to the game, late to reflecting like what people are listening to online or want to hear in that moment. But TikTok radio is the complete opposite of that. It's reflecting the trending songs of now, what you're hearing on your FYP, or maybe what your friends are hearing but you're not hearing, and you should be hearing. So it was really fun to talk to them about sort of which artists are great at catering to that, what their favorite TikTok songs have been over the years. We talked about some of like the year of Taylor and Beyonce. I asked them to choose, which was a little bit unfair, but because I don't think you have to, and it's not about comparison. It's more just about like celebrating the year that both those artists have had, the dominant years. So two great conversations, and you should definitely check out SiriusXM Channel 4 TikTok Radio, which they all are co-hosts of. So keep listening for my interview with the hosts of SiriusXM's TikTok Radio. All right, so we're here with Davis Burleson, one of the co-hosts of SiriusXM's TikTok Radio. Davis, how are you today?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. So you're coming off an interview with Olivia Rodrigo, and I know I think you've interviewed her in the past, but like since you just had this one happen, how did it go? Well, give me the lowdown.
It went so well. Olivia is so nice, and she's one of the only people that I've interviewed that is similar in age to me. So I kind of feel like we went to high school together. We're just kind of like friends at school. She's so nice, and I was really excited to talk to her ahead of her new album. So I got to talk to her literally the day before it came out. And she was kind of very anxious about it and like didn't know what to expect. And I'm so happy with the results because everyone loves it so much. So I'm just very proud of her.
Totally. And it's cool because she is one of there's a longer list now of artists and celebrities who really understand TikTok and like the power that it has to obviously like power their music. But like she's one of the really like native people who understands that. So do you feel like she has like an understanding of like your platform as well? And like you kind of can speak the same language in that way?
Totally. I mean, we very much know TikTok and know what people like and what people don't like. And I think especially with her music, like every single song on her album can be used in a TikTok trend, and it has already. People are using them. And also too, when I was in my interview with her, the way we even bantered, I could kind of tell that she knew that our clips are going to go on TikTok. So we kind of worked together in that way. And our TikTok clips did very well too for SiriusXM. So that was really cool.
It's so interesting. It adds a whole other level to just an interview. You know what I mean?
Totally. I mean, when I am doing longer form interviews, I have about 10 minutes, but I'm in my head, I'm not just thinking about the 10 minutes. I'm also thinking about the clips that I can get for TikTok, because that's the most important part. And that's the part that people actually see before they go watch the longer interview.
Right. And so you have your show on TikTok, which has really, really helped you build your platform and probably led to opportunities like this one and co-hosting this channel. Like how did doing that show and getting all of that practice under your belt? Because I mean, you're doing man on the street interviews like all the time. How did that prepare you for something like this, which is like a different kind of level of interview or different kind of platform, at least?
My show has definitely taught me so much because the main thing that I've learned is how to work quickly on my feet, because in my show, I'm running up to strangers in the street and right. I know nothing about them. I have no idea what to expect. And I don't even know if they are willing to talk to me. So I'm kind of just working with what I got and being very much in the moment. And I can handle the sound of silence very well. Like I know how to, if the person can't talk, I know how to recover and like take it from there. So I feel like in my longer interviews and working on the radio, I've kind of been able, because of my experience on my show, I've learned how to properly interview someone and how to properly speak and what pauses to make, when there's room for silence, when there's not, all that kind of stuff.
Totally.
When you can say and like all that kind of
Yes. Yeah. And you learn, I feel like you probably realize that like interviewing a celebrity versus interviewing just a regular citizen, like there is, I mean, you can employ the same kinds of tools and thoughts when you're asking those questions.
Totally, totally.
Yeah. So TikTok radio, it's really meant to reflect like the music trends, what's happening on TikTok, like what people are really listening to in that moment. Right now, when you think when I mention those kind of things, what are you thinking? Like that, what pops to the top of your mind that are the biggest songs on TikTok, that are the biggest trends that you're seeing, and that you want to play on TikTok radio?
Wait, sorry. Are you asking what songs are the biggest right now, or
No,
what am I looking for?
like yeah, I mean, like when I was saying like TikTok radio is meant to reflect what people are listening to or what's popping on TikTok right now. Like what pops into your mind?
What pops into my mind? Well, honestly, Olivia Rodrigo really
Yeah,
pops into my mind right now. I'm trying to think of what else. I've been playing her a lot. It's actually what my favorite thing about the radio, about playing TikTok radio, is how I do it twice a week, and you can kind of, and we play the most popular songs, and it's interesting
right.
to see a song that was on the very bottom in its first week, and now I'm playing it week after week after week after week, and it's kind of like, why did this one continue to pop off so much? And a lot of it is if it becomes like a universal trend where you don't even have to speak English to understand it. If it's a dance, that's typically what will make a song be really successful. The one that I remember so well that was like on that I was playing for like 14 weeks or something was Unholy by Sam Smith and
Oh
Kim.
yeah.
It was kind of like a running joke. Like I was on, and by the end of it on the radio, I was like, I cannot believe that people are still listening to this song, but they are. And
That's stuck around. That song stuck around.
stuck around. Yeah.
And it won a Grammy, so good for them, you know?
Good
Like
for them. Good for them. Yes.
exactly. But I mean that kind of speaks to something that I was curious from your perspective what you thought of, which is like I think the cool thing about TikTok is that somebody can blow up overnight and they can get this smash hit just kind of like off of one trend in like a week basically. But then the flip side of that is that sometimes, or I would say a lot of time, that person or that song will sort of disappear the next week, and then you won't hear about that person or that song ever again. In your mind, when you're looking at what works on TikTok and what stays relevant on TikTok, or when somebody can follow up a hit with another one,
Yeah.
who does that really well, or like what's sort of the secret to that sauce? Because I feel like it's not everybody's figured it out.
Right. I would say without a doubt, Ice Spice is one that has
Yeah.
crushed it and nailed it. And I remember when her first song came out, we were playing it on TikTok radio, and I remember saying like, I don't know who she is. I just know of her orange hair, and people are really obsessed with her right now. And I remember saying like, I don't know if this is the only one song, or are we gonna see more from her? And then after that, it was hit after hit after hit, and people on TikTok just became obsessed. And now she's like an A-list celebrity. So it was really cool to like see that progression. And I think it was not only just her music, but it was also her as well. So I think her
Yeah.
personal brand and her image and her look had played a huge role into her success. Also, Lo Love, it's spelled Laffy, but she's a very
Okay.
talented artist, and we've been playing her for a while now, and she has just blown up, and her TikTok fans are so incredibly dedicated. She has like 2.6 million followers. And they're all following her, not just because of her music, but because they just like her, and because they like her, they are streaming, and it's actually going towards ticket sales now. So
Yeah, and you can tell when when the fandom feels more invested or stronger or more, or they're galvanized more behind that person probably.
totally, and it's all because of their TikTok. I had her on my What's Poppin' show. We met up in the park, and I had her on my show. And I remember saying before she came, I'm like, this is gonna do really well because her fans on TikTok are crazy. And the video, I think, literally has 1.1 million views now, and like the whole comment section is everyone just freaking out about her.
That's amazing. Do people reach out to you to be on What's Poppin' to like to promote things, or like they see the power in your show and the platform that you've created, like and just sort of launch something?
Yeah, a lot. Recently, a lot more. It's been very fun. So we'll have a lot of a lot of artists come on and promote their music ahead of like an album release or a single release. Like we just had Renee Rapp on, which was very fun.
Love her.
And Lofe and yeah, tons of people have come on, which has been really fun. And
What is that?
sometimes we like to sorry.
What's that? What's that feeling though? Like that you can like help, you can help kind of bolster somebody's career or just or make or help make a song happen or make, you know what I mean? Like that's a pretty cool, just power to have.
It feels really cool and it's exciting. And it's not just me, but it's also
Of course, but
also them, of course. But it is really cool that people want to come to the park and do this kind of like as a one thing on a press tour, kind of just it takes 10 minutes, seriously, that and it could get a million views, and it's totally worth it.
Mm-hmm. How is being a co-host on SiriusXM's TikTok radio, how has that sort of like broadened your idea of like what you're capable of or what your platform can be or what kind of opportunities you can get from this?
It has been the best thing ever for me. I literally got this job because of my show and because they saw that I could speak and talk. When I first started, they were like, slow down, because I was used to TikTok where every second is accounted for on TikTok. You have to talk very, very, very fast. And so they're like, slow down. And I very much have practiced and learned, and I can speak a lot slower and enunciate my words properly. And I'm just wondering now where my speech therapist is, because I had a speech therapist for 8 years growing up because
Wow.
I couldn't say my S's. So I'm just grateful for that.
Give it up. Love
give
that.
it up for her. But yeah, no, this job has opened up a lot of doors for me. And I've got to go to the Golden Globes and I went to the Grammys with SiriusXM earlier this year, which was so cool. And just I've got to meet so many artists that I have been such big fans of. Just pinch me.
Yeah, totally. So let's end with a couple rapid fire questions. What is your favorite TikTok song of all time? What sticks out to you?
My God, my favorite TikTok song of all time.
A dance you really liked, one that, I don't know, had staying power.
Yeah, what had staying power? What was I obsessed with? I mean, probably "Cruel Summer" by Taylor Swift.
Okay. So that's like a semi TikTok song.
I know. It's just like I played it on the radio for a very long on TikTok radio for a very long time.
Okay,
so
there we go.
A TikTok song.
Perfect.
But also "Driver's License" by Olivia Rodrigo is kind of like a timeless piece.
Quintessential. 100%. Is there one that is there ever one that you're just sort of, you don't have to even name names, but like, is there ever one that you're sort of like, I don't really get why this is popping off, or I don't really
Unholy.
Okay. It wasn't for you.
Wasn't for me.
Okay. Is 2023 the year of Taylor Swift or the year of Beyonce?
2023. Oh, it's hard. But I think they both have different categories making them just as equal. But I think right now with everything that's going on with Taylor in terms of her dating life, I would say Taylor.
Okay. All right. Fair answer. I agree it's both, but fair answer. What is dominating your FYP right now?
Dominating my FYP. TikTok finally has realized that my obsession with birds, which is very exciting for me because I've been trying to get on the bird side of TikTok. So I'm seeing ducks and pigeons and every animal on my For You page. I'm very excited about that. And then just a lot of Olivia Rodrigo, like seriously, a lot.
It's a lot. Yeah, it's a lot. Well, she does such a good job of like taking the bit of her song, like you said, and she's done it for every single one of her songs on her album. And it's like you see a different thing happening every
different
hour.
trend for each one. There's one where her song "Ballad of a Homeschooled Girl," where you show a photo of yourself from her first album, Sour, and now when her 2 years later with Guts, and you show the difference in the way you looked, and like
I love that. And lastly, a lot of TikTok breaks a lot of new songs, a lot of new artists, but it also obviously brings back a lot of random old songs. What's an old song that you would like to see get its due on TikTok now?
Oh, an old song I want to see have a comeback is "Love Song" by Sarah Bareilles. I feel like that is one that has a special place in my heart. And I feel like people, Gen Z, I am Gen Z, but I feel like they need to hear more of it. Also, "Sweet Escape" by Gwen Stefani.
Two very good picks.
Sour Milk on the Floor, like her fast rap kind of, I think would literally hit so well on TikTok. People would love that.
Totally. Yeah, both of those are sort of like the iTunes era of life. And so like we need them brought into this
Yeah, we
era.
need them back.
Totally. Well, Davis, thank you so much for taking the time to talk. When can people listen to you on SiriusXM's TikTok radio?
You can listen to me on Channel 4 on SiriusXM, and you can find me on TikTok, Instagram at Davis Burleson and at What's Poppin' Show.
Awesome. Thanks so much.
Thank you. Nice to meet you.
All right, so we are here with 4 of the 5 hosts of SiriusXM's TikTok Radio: Masani Musa, Lamar Dawson, Taylor Cassidy, and Jess Lucero. How are you guys?
Doing great.
How are you?
We're all calling in from different cities. I love that we're making this work. So I mean, let's just kick it off. I mean, so TikTok radio, I think sometimes I think of like regular radio, and it kind of is behind on the times. Sometimes it's playing a song that was big online a month after it kind of hit popularity, but TikTok radio is kind of the direct opposite of that. It's meant to reflect what's going on TikTok, the music trends, what's popping off. So when I say like, a TikTok song or a TikTok artist or a dance that's happening right now that you're really into, what pops into your mind?
Ooh. For me right now, it would have to be Water by Tyla. That has been all over my FYP, and it's going viral because of this dance that requires a prop. You literally have to have a water bottle, and while you're doing the dance, you have to make something shake, literally. And it went viral, and I love it. I'm still trying to figure out the dance, but one day I'll be able to do it.
You got this. I believe in you.
I also think of Greedy by Tate McRae because everyone is using it for the Tube Girl video right now, where they're like zooming out in 0.5 and just basically making their own music video. She started it by making a music video on the Tube in London, which I thought was super cool. But I also just love Tate McRae's music in general. So I think that song is a banger, and I'm glad it's getting the attention it deserves.
Yes. I think a song that is like quickly emerging and I'm sure will be trending very soon is It Girl by a TikToker by the name of Aaliyah's Interlude. She's actually like a social media like phenom, and she just started releasing music, and I already see people like really loving her song and using it for transition videos. So yeah.
Love it. Lamar, what about you?
Well, I'm always thinking about the throwbacks. I love nostalgia, throwbacks from the 80s, 90s, 2000s. So like right now, my feed still has a lot of like Christina Aguilera Come On Over Baby dancing on it. And I feel like it's captured a lot of celebs on TikTok. Like you see like Tia Mowry and Gabrielle Union doing it together, Amy Poehler doing it with someone, I can't remember who she was dancing with, Tracy Ellis Ross dancing to it. So it's always really cool to see those throwbacks also come back through TikTok and be reintroduced to a whole new generation of people. And then again, we get to play it on the channel.
Yeah,
Or
totally.
even made into remixes now, which is super cool about TikTok. You see all these DJs like editing all the older music and making it more modern. I love that.
Yeah, totally. And Jess, you mentioned Tate McRae, and I feel like one thing about that song is that she was teasing it for so long. Like
Yeah.
I felt like we were waiting for that song to come out. And she's somebody who I think of who's really great at not just having one moment via TikTok, but just sort of like, but following it up with something else sort of as her career continues. Who else do you guys think of that does a really good job of that? Because I think the one sort of like criticism I think that TikTok gets in terms of its effect on music is that it can blow somebody up overnight, but then like they might disappear the next week, or they might not be able to follow it up with another hit. So who else do you guys think does a really good job at that?
The first thing that comes to mind for me is Hemlock Springs. She is an amazing music artist. She recently had a hit called Girlfriend, and it blew up. It has this like 80s feel, and just from her videos hyping it up, talking about how she's making it from her bedroom, and like, oh, she made this song in 10 minutes. Even like Girlfriend was on TikTok radio for weeks, and now every time I go on her account, she's promoting her music. She just has this community that is like die hard for her. So I think even though artists may have a song that gets really viral and they may not have an immediate hit, just the fact that they have been using TikTok gets them a community so quickly that is so long lasting, because their talent is so long lasting too.
Right.
A few artists come to my mind for a minute for many different reasons. I think of like a Charlie Puth who spends all this time showing you his studio and what he's working on and things like that. And the song comes out, you feel like you witnessed it from inception to completion. So you
Right.
almost have a vested interest there. I think of like dance artists like Oda Tari, who's hopped on TikTok and really taken advantage of it in that way as well, showing you the process, creating the content with it. I think about Russ, someone else who's using the platform to build community, promote the music. Then you see him on tour, you kind of just see the whole thing from start to finish. Like it's almost like instead of waiting for the documentary to drop, you kind of just see it episode by
Right.
episode, bit by bit, every single time you log on. You see
Good
them
point.
organizing the set list, going to the award show, their first show. It's a bit of everything that's really fascinating to watch.
Mm-hmm.
You know
Yeah.
who else? And I don't think this was intentional, but Addison Rae had a lot of her music leaked before she ended up releasing it. And that drew a lot of hype over her music when it was released because everyone kind of had an idea of what her music was going to sound like. And I think she got so much attention when her music finally came out, even though at first it wasn't the greatest attention. But now I think people are like, no, she's a little pop star. She's fun.
Masani,
Yeah.
anybody else?
Yeah, I think that happened for Steve Lacy. And he's not like the, artist who is going to log on to TikTok and like be posting, hey, listen to my music. But there was an era where like all of his songs would just start to trend back to back to back to back. And his demand like grew crazy. His tour was really crazy. It was a whole situation where like, he had the thing where he was at the concerts and like telling his fans to like shut up while he was performing. But it was really amazing to watch him go from like this artist who had been like, in music for almost a decade to finally have his music trend and like become almost like a star overnight, even though he was already like somewhat of a star.
Yeah, totally. And it's funny because all those different answers just kind of checked a different box of like what my initial question asked. Like it's kind of cool how it all kind of pieces together. I mean, so you guys are 4 of the 5 co-hosts. I interviewed Davis separately before because that was the only time he had. But how when you guys think of you guys as a group, it really kind of feels like you all balance each other out in different ways, whether it's like your interests in different musics or personalities. Can you guys speak to that a little bit and why this show just works so well with you guys at the helm?
I'd say it worked well from what you're saying already, because we all have our own unique perspective. Because here's the thing, the For You page is really for you. There are things that I'm sure that Jess is seeing that I'm not seeing. Like I've seen that Tyler water dance, but I've not seen it with the water bottle that Taylor's talking about. So that alone is a different perspective on it. And again, my content and my area of expertise is around like nostalgia. So I really lean into all the throwback songs that are trending, like Daz band Let It Whip is trending right now. Like I bring that knowledge and that information to the listener so they understand like why you're hearing this song from the 80s or the 90s or the 2000s all of a sudden, and I give you that context on it. Or here's a song that was a remake of this song and this is why you're hearing it, so forth and so on. So it allows you to have a bit of a different experience with the app, because we're experiencing the app differently as well.
That's what I love about listening to our station is hearing, say all 4 of us we'll intro Vampire by Olivia Rodrigo, but we might all have different takes on our intro. And for me in particular, I'm like very into pop culture and whatever is trending at that moment. So like if I'm going to talk about Taylor Swift's music, I'm almost always going to talk about what she's doing in her real life rather than her music itself. I'm talking about her and Travis Kelce right now because everyone's keeping up with it. So it's just fun to hear all of our different takes.
I completely agree. I also think that just like you said about how we each have our own different FYPs, and we even said that like we're all coming from different cities, we also bring our own life perspectives to each like song we intro or things that we talk about. And from time to time, TikTok Radio even lets us intro our own song of our choosing. So it's really cool to see different life perspectives come into introducing the music too, because you get a little personal look into each of the hosts' stories. So I think it just puts a little cherry on top to the station.
Yeah. And it's like we're all very different, like everyone has stated. So it just makes it really fun to listen to. And engage with, because you really never know what you're going to get.
Definitely, definitely. So let's spend the last couple of minutes doing a couple of rapid fire questions. When I say your favorite TikTok song of all time, TikTok song, what pops to your mind? What's something that had longevity? What's something that stayed with you? What's a dance that you love?
Renegade.
Okay.
Oh my gosh.
An OG.
I would say Passion, Pink Panthers. It just
Good one.
reminds me of TikTok.
Yeah.
I love it.
This is too like very recent, but Mona Lisa by Dominic Fike is just it's
Yeah.
on my playlist anytime soon.
One of my favorites is this is kind of a deep cut, but it's MGMT's Little Dark Age. You guys remember that one that was trending? So the trend
Maybe.
was like,
You gotta sing
so no, I'm not gonna
it.
It's Little Dark Age, MGMT, and it's like one of their lesser known singles. And it was like this Renaissance era photo that you would put yourself into. So you would like get dressed up and pose and then kind of like merge it almost with an AI effect to make yourself look like you're in a Renaissance painting. But I would see that so much, and now I became like obsessed with that song. So it's one of my, whenever I hear it, I just think of TikTok automatically. Tracks for me.
And Lamar, this one might be mostly for you, but you know, obviously TikTok is really good at breaking new songs and new artists, but also, as we kind of alluded to on this call, like it also will randomly just bring back an oldie that we forgot about or loved back then, and you know, we're glad to see it have its moment. What's an old song that you would like to see have its moment in 2023 or 2024?
Ooh,
oh my God. That's a tough one. Let me think on this for
Okay.
for a
Anybody
moment.
else
Hold on,
have
let me
it?
think.
Okay.
I think we need to get some Whitney Houston trending, because I feel like her legacy is so under celebrated and her catalog is so crazy. Like, I would love for some Whitney Houston trend.
Totally.
I want more Earth, Wind, and Fire. I feel like I need some In the Stone, like that needs to trend. I feel like that has heavy TikTok potential.
Yes.
I feel like with Usher playing in the Super Bowl, he's probably going to start trending, because you kind of saw Gen Z wasn't like super excited about that, whereas everyone else was like, no, this is going to be so
hits.
sick.
Exactly. Yeah.
So that's definitely, he's going to come back for sure, as if he wasn't already, but.
Lamar,
I still have an answer. I love everything that's been trending. You know, what I would love to see more of is I would love to see more Sade trending. Sade's been trending right now with Smooth Operator. I'm obsessed with the 80s. So anything from the 80s. So I definitely co-sign on Whitney Houston, because I definitely think that a lot of other divas have had a really great comeback on TikTok. Like Celine Dion's had a really big moment. Mariah Carey's had great moments for a lot of her songs throughout her career have been trending on TikTok outside of the holidays, which has been great because she's getting this rap as like
the Christmas Queen.
Christmas Queen.
Yeah.
Just so many other amazing songs in her catalog, and I'm so glad that so many songs are coming back through TikTok. So I would love to see more of that as well.
Yeah, I think some of these artists are doing such a good job at sort of like bringing back their legacy and kind of reimagining it for 2023. Like Mariah's doing that right now with all of her kind of anniversary releases. So would love to see more of that. When I say least favorite TikTok song, something that you didn't get, that you just didn't hit for you, because I think that's kind of the flip side, right? Like we all have our FYPs that are very much built for us, and that means that maybe not everything's meant for us, you know? So what's something that didn't really hit for you?
I'm not a big Oh, go ahead, Taylor.
No, I'm just saying that's so scary to say. I'm afraid to say.
Meanwhile, I'm over here like, I'm ready to go.
Jess, what were you gonna say?
I'm just not a big like EDM kind of girly. Right. So a lot of that music, unless people are using it to show like a summer recap, I'm typically gonna scroll past a lot of that type of music. You know, I like something that I can sing along to. So there's a few songs under that umbrella.
Yeah. Anyone else brave enough to put something out there?
That was hard.
Yeah.
It's hard because it's like TikTok will make something trend, and even on paper, if you feel like you wouldn't like it, TikTok will make you like it. Like, it's so weird. But I would maybe say like, I don't know. That's hard. I'm not sure.
Davis said Unholy earlier, because it just kind of like was inescapable for so long. So that's kind of you know what I mean. But
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
No, I love that. I love when they get kind of repetitive and
Yeah.
stuck in my head. That's the whole point of the show. Like whenever I do my countdown show on Fridays, I'm like, these are the 10 songs that are probably stuck in your head this week. You know what I mean? The songs that you can't get out of your FYP. No matter how far you scroll, you keep hearing the same things. I love that. I was getting burnt out on "Kiss Me More" by Doja Cat. That was kind of grating on me a little bit. I love that song. I love her. I love SZA, but I was like, okay, I can't see this anymore.
All right, to end it, for you, and again, it's not comparison, but for you, was 2023 or is 2023 the year of Taylor Swift or the year of Beyonce?
I'm gonna let y'all answer first.
Well, I mean, honestly, for me personally, it's been the year of Beyonce. I think the Renaissance World Tour has been so fun and such a cultural moment for music. Over on my page, like we've been talking about Beyonce a lot this year. So, I mean, maybe I'm a little biased, but I think Beyonce is like the grand supreme of music. So it's been Beyonce for me.
Okay.
That's so tough because I'm a Virgo and I love Beyonce, the Queen Virgo, but Taylor Swift is just like anytime I make a video about her, everyone goes crazy for that video. And then I also used to work in sports, so her potentially dating Travis Kelce is just like I cannot escape it. So I would probably have to say Taylor Swift, but I don't like to compare women. This is a tough question.
It's not comparison. It's more like from your own experience, like what sort of has been the more dominant person. I think it's because I mean I went to both concerts. Like for me, it's a tough call too. But it just I think it's cool to have the conversation.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if I can choose. On my For You page, they're both really, really dominant.
Yeah, same.
You know what I mean? You know, I see so many Taylor Swift songs trending. Like I love the Karma dance that trends on TikTok with the little shimmy that she does on tour. It's so cute. Everyone's sharing their experiences, singing Cruel Summer at the top of their lungs at the concert. But then you see the Mute Challenge from Beyonce. You know what I mean? Like you're seeing them both. Both albums were trending midnights, you know, from Taylor, Renaissance from Beyonce. Both albums had so many blockbusters going crazy on the FYP. I don't know. I feel like they both have had a fantastic year, and I think that's okay that they both won.
Mm-hmm. I feel like I completely agree with you, Lamar. Like everybody's FYP is different, and you're gonna get different concentrations of the same thing. And I think both artists are powerhouses in their own genre.
Yeah.
If you were to ask me though, if you were to ask Taylor Cassidy me, I'm gonna have to go with Beyonce because I could talk about it for hours and hours and hours, like her discography, her longevity, Blue Ivy, Blink Blink, like her emergence during this tour is just like literally setting up the passing of the torch. I'm saying like Beyonce. And that's
totally. Yeah.
I've also never seen so many people dress like just prepare for a concert the way they did for the Renaissance tour and for the Eras tour. It was so cool to watch how much effort they put into their outfits.
Yeah, I think in some ways they fueled each other. You know, I think they're these two blockbuster tours that just, you know, I think there was an energy this summer especially that just felt so kind of once in a lifetime, you know. Yeah.
A lot of girl power.
Yes.
Definitely.
Yeah, totally. So I think that's all the time we have, guys. But if we want to go around the horn and do your own plug for when people can hear you on SiriusXM's TikTok radio, Taylor, do you want to go first?
Yeah, sure. You can listen to all of us and me, Taylor Cassidy, on TikTok radio. That's channel 4 on SiriusXM. And you can find me on TikTok at Taylor Cassidy J for Black history videos, motivational videos, all around good vibes and joy.
Jess, what about you?
I'm Jess the Reporter. You can listen to me on TikTok radio channel 4 on SiriusXM. You can also check me out on TikTok where I do pop culture deep dives. It's a lot of fun.
And Lamar?
Yeah, so I am the Dirty King of Pop on TikTok, and I host our countdown show on Fridays at 3 p.m. If you're on the East Coast, 12 p.m. on the West Coast. It's the TikTok Billboard Top 10. Rebranded. Now there's a Billboard chart for TikTok songs, and now we have that countdown on Fridays.
And Masani?
I'm Masani Musa. I'm at Culture Unfiltered on TikTok, and we're on SiriusXM channel 4 like 24/7. So anytime you listen to the app, you can hear all of us. And if you follow me on TikTok, you can see content about music, hip hop, R&B, and pop culture.
Love it. Well, thank you so much, guys. This has been so much fun. And everyone go listen to SiriusXM TikTok radio.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks for tuning in to We Should Talk. I hope you enjoyed the interview. You can find out more about In The Know at intheknow.com. You can follow me, Gibson Johns, at Gibsonoma on Twitter and Instagram. And you can listen to all of our interviews, past and future, by searching We Should Talk wherever you get your podcasts. Hope to see you next time.